City is a special place, and we can differentiate ourselves in the world of higher education. We're a leading global university, committed to academic excellence, focused on business and the professions, and located in the heart of London. As a result, our courses are popular, our students are highly employable, they get good starting salaries, and we have about a quarter of our staff engaged in research that is internationally excellent or world leading.
We're essentially interested in trying to understand how individuals with autism spectrum disorder learn and remember things most effectively. Once you understand what kind of learning and memory difficulties individuals with autism have, you can then try and target educational programs towards minimizing situations that they might find difficult and kind of encouraging or promoting an environment that facilitates learning. It's an exciting place to be at City because it's providing a very kind of nurturing environment for promoting research and encouraging very high level of research.
My name is Roger Jowl. I'm Professor in the School of Social Sciences, and I run the Centre for Comparative Social Surveys, which carries out the European Social Survey in 34 countries throughout Europe. What we've got is a survey that monitors change in people's attitudes and behaviour patterns throughout Europe, which is of help to governments and academia in analysing changes in society and in finding out what makes Britain, for instance, different from other countries, unique in some ways and very, very similar in others. City is terrific for supporting research, and that's what I do.
My name is Ron Douglas and I teach human anatomy, physiology and pathology in the optometry department at City University. It is actually the oldest optometry department in Europe and actually probably the oldest optometry department in the world. And although I haven't been here since it was conceived, I have been here nearly 30 years. My research, broadly speaking, is on the visual system of animals. We've developed a system using stem cells with which you can reverse retinal degeneration in mammals, perhaps pointing the way to a possible therapy for vision loss in humans.
My name is Sean Kenty. I studied automotive and motorsport engineering at City University London. City University London is at the cutting edge of automotive research. This research filters down through the lectures that they give you and ultimately makes the transition from the learning environment to the work environment seamless. They also combine that theoretical knowledge very well in a range of practical design activities that give you really good experience of real-life engineering projects. The location's brilliant, the course content's fantastic, the staff are great, and I really enjoyed my time there.
In just over 100 years, and from that single London square, City has developed into a confident institution with over 22,000 students, 2,500 outstanding staff, and we're now ranked among the top 5% of universities in the world.
Please be seated. Distinguished guests, graduands, colleagues, it gives me great pleasure to welcome you to this degree ceremony, presided over this morning by the Vice-Chancellor of City University London, Professor Paul Curran, accompanied by the Deputy Vice-Chancellor, Professor David Bolton. May I extend a special welcome to our graduands and graduates, their families and friends, our colleagues and supporters across the world who are watching this ceremony live through a video stream on the web. As our name suggests, City University London has an intimate relationship with the City of London, and so we are delighted to be here today in the Barbican Centre, which is owned, funded, and managed by the City of London Corporation. This Barbican Centre was opened by Her Majesty the Queen in March 1982 and was built by the city as its gift to the nation at a cost equivalent today of over £400 million. It is Europe's largest multi-arts venue, presenting a diverse range of art, music, theatre, film, dance, and education events. And this concert hall is home to both the London Symphony Orchestra and the BBC Symphony Orchestra. Before the presentations, remember, this is a day of celebration, so feel free to clap for each of our students, and those queuing to come up onto the stage, do applaud your friends and your colleagues ahead of you. I now declare this degree congregation open. Vice-Chancellor, this congregation is assembled for the conferment of honorary degrees. City University London's honorary graduates are those who have attained international academic distinction or held major leadership roles nationally or internationally in the areas of business and the professions that the university serves, and who are considered to be appropriate role models for our students. Today, we are delighted to honor Lionel Barber. Lionel Barber has been editor of the Financial Times since 2005 and has led one of the most famous newspapers and websites in the world through coverage of a long-running financial crisis. The paper has built the largest British and international audience in its history and is making significant income from digital publishing in an era when that success eludes many other famous titles. A Newspaper of the Year award in 2008 noted that the Financial Times had become a 21st century news organization. The paper has been a leader in the field of integrating its newsroom to encompass both print and digital outputs for the sizable number of countries in which the Financial Times circulates, be that on its distinctive pink paper, computer screens, or smartphones. It is said that journalists routinely lecture the rest of the world about the need for change, whilst disliking alteration to their working lives as much as anyone else. As the experience of other major news organizations shows, change of the kind which the Financial Times has achieved is neither easy nor always uncontroversial. Editors of newspapers are required to be many things to many people. They are the ringmasters of a staff of highly qualified people, each with a very strong opinion of their own. They are ambassadors for their reputation and brand. The internet has made that an international role for the editors of major newspapers. They are a galvanizing source of energy and ideas for the newsroom. They must judge and adjudicate priorities and points of conflict every hour of the day. They are the final court of appeal on ethical issues and quality control. Those aspects of an editor's job are timeless. But in this era of turbulence for journalism, caused by the disruption of the business model for printed news, editors are also required to think and act as strategists for their title. exclusive concentration on the next hour's front page or next morning's paper is no longer enough. Issues such as what digital technology and social media mean for journalism, or whether online readers should pay for content, require the editor to help shape their company's long-term business plans. In all of these aspects of editorial leadership at the Financial Times, Lionel Barber has shown himself to be both decisive and distinctive. He is an intellectual leader and spokesman, frequently appearing in the global media and taking part in the debates on media organization and regulation generated by the phone hacking scandal and the Leveson inquiry. No one who's worked with him would describe him as anything less than dynamic and tireless, a quality much needed during the recent years of a complex financial crisis which has tested the paper's qualities to the limits. He is not a man to duck a challenge, even if his job requires, as it recently did, playing cricket against Imran Khan. He began his years as editor by refocusing the paper's agenda on finance and economics of greatest relevance to its core readership. He has taken a clear view on the strategic controversies of the day, be it the rise of China or the decision to charge for online content. Lionel Barber was educated at Dulwich College and St Edmund Hall in Oxford, where he took his degree in German and history. He began his career at The Scotsman and The Sunday Times before joining the Financial Times. He has written books on the news agency Reuters and on the Westland crisis during the Thatcher government. He has been a visiting scholar at the University of California at Berkeley and at the European University Institute in Florence. At the Financial Times, his career has included lengthy periods of reporting on both the United States and the European Union. He was reporting from Washington during the end of the Cold War, the first Gulf War, and through 2 presidential elections. He was the paper's bureau chief in Brussels, and subsequently he became news editor, editor of the European edition, and then US managing editor before becoming editor of the Financial Times 7 years ago. Scholars of international affairs debate the relative importance of hard and soft power in international affairs, the contrast between economic or military weight on the one hand and cultural and intellectual influence on the other. The Financial Times, known and valued not only in the city but across the globe, is surely a powerful weapon in the United Kingdom's arsenal of soft power. It is the newspaper which seeks to understand how the world ticks. Because the newspaper is a world leader, the job of its editor is a demanding one. Our Honorand today has risen to that task with distinction. Vice-Chancellor, in recognition of his distinguished contribution and leadership in the field of journalism, I have the honor to present Lionel Barber for the degree of Doctor of Science honoris causa. Vice-Chancellor, I invite Dr. Barber to address the congregation.
Vice-Chancellor, fellow graduates, distinguished guests, I'm truly delighted to receive this honorary degree this morning from City University. These days, journalists enjoy higher standing, marginally higher standing than bankers and politicians. So to hear those generous words and to hear my career in retrospect and to be awarded this accolade is a source of great personal pride. As has been said, I've been a journalist for more than 30 years, more than half of that time abroad in Washington, Brussels and New York. Thanks to the FT, I have occupied a ringside seat at the end of the Cold War, the birth of the Euro, and 2 Gulf Wars, and most recently, as has been said, as ringmaster at the FT covering the global financial crisis. In between these page-turning stories, I've had the opportunity to take time out of journalism to enjoy sabbaticals, first at Berkeley in California, and then at the European University Institute in Florence. Now, these 2 hardship posts and subsequent lectures on campuses around the world have taught me to appreciate the vital contribution universities make to public policy and public life. A university education is not just about individual academic excellence, which we're celebrating today. It is a collective enterprise in which teachers and students interact to the benefit of society as a whole. And the City University is no exception. From its earliest days, the university's mission has been to promote industrial skills, as well as the application of science and technology to business and commerce. The Journalism School and Cass Business School, with which I'm most familiar, enjoy an international reputation. Indeed, many graduates regularly go on to great things, and that would include employment at the Financial Times. Now, this year's graduates are entitled to look at the world and the labour market with some trepidation. But it's worth remembering that hard times often produce great innovation. In 1815, Britain and her allies had just defeated Napoleon. And with the demobilization of the British Navy, British wool manufacturers had thousands of pre-cut wool jackets on their hands. To rescue themselves from bankruptcy in the following depression of 1815 to 16, these same manufacturers launched the biggest Navy surplus sale in history. Many famous retail brands sprung up as a result. Equally, the Great Depression of 1873 saw the same kind of credit squeeze which we're witnessing today. France, Prussia, and Austria-Hungary responded by imposing tariffs on cheap American grain. But what they neglected to do was to impose tariffs on manufactured food, tins of beef, beef extract, fruits, and vegetables. And that left an opening for a handful of American industrial canners who'd made their fortunes during the Civil War providing canned goods to Union soldiers. And thus they entered and created national and international markets. In more recent times, the oil shock-induced recession of the late 1970s cut a swathe through the industrial Midwest. But at the same time, the US economy, along with other advanced industrialized Western economies, was shifting toward higher valued added goods and services, drawing on the transformative power of software and technology. There are many more stories to tell of such imagination, initiative, and resilience. These 3 qualities, I would submit, will serve each of you graduates well in your future careers. But above all, do not forget the power of critical thinking. And this is not just the contrarian journalist speaking. The spirit of inquiry, the freedom to think critically, these are what separate a democratic society from the also-rans. These qualities are the sine qua non for the engaged citizen. So as Steve Jobs, the much-lamented Steve Jobs, once said, "Do not be trapped by dogma, which is nothing more than living with the results of of other people's thinking. Do not be led astray by the naysayers. Have the courage to follow your intuition. Think big. And keep reading. Thank you.
Vice-Chancellor, this congregation is assembled for the conferment of postgraduate and undergraduate awards of the university. I call upon the Deputy Dean of the School of Arts, Dr. Lawrence Sulkin, to lead us into this morning's presentation of graduands.
Vice-Chancellor, distinguished guests, members of council, graduands, I wish to thank you for your welcome. I'm delighted to put forward graduands from the School of Arts. As we've heard, 2012 continues to be an interesting year for journalism and the writing professions, particularly in London. In addition to world-class facilities and leading academics who are renowned in their field, the journalism students graduating today have had the opportunity to attend a number of high-profile events hosted at City University, not least of which was one of the first important public debates on phone hacking, featuring many of those who have driven the debate in the media over the year. We believe that journalism education is an important part of modern society, and our journalism students graduate today not just with a degree, but an inspiring dedication to their profession and a desire to prove the value of journalism by producing work that genuinely serves the public interest. For those looking to study music, the creative industries and cultural leadership and policy, there is no doubt that London offers an unsurpassed learning environment. With London as their stage, City University London students sitting here today have had the opportunity to develop policy for some of London's top cultural destinations, perform in some of London's leading venues, as well as work with some of London's most talented industry professionals. Alongside this, they've learned from some of the world's foremost creative and cultural academics, demonstrating their ability to think critically as well as creatively about their industry. Today, our students are in the spotlight again, as we gather to recognise and congratulate them on their academic achievements. I'm sure for many of them here today, it will not be the last time they receive applause or recognition from a large audience. And I call upon each of our programmes in turn. Vice-Chancellor, I call on Professor George Brock, Head of Journalism, to present students from that department.
Honour to present for the award of a Master of Arts in Television Journalism, Kerry Ann Hopkins.
Vice-Chancellor, I now call on Professor Stephen Cottrell, Head of the Department of Creative Practices and Enterprise.
Vice-Chancellor, I have the honour to present for the award of a degree of Doctor of Philosophy in recognition of a programme of work entitled An Investigation and Edition of Domenico Scarlatti's Tolomeo di Alessandro, Catherine Ann de la Matta.